I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, an uneasy calm prevails in Ladakh following the unrest that left 4 killed, over 40 injured, and the number of those arrested has now gone up to 60. The focus now shifts to who fanned the fire, who stands to benefit from the unrest that we saw in Leh. On Blueprint Explosive Exclusive this evening, we will bring to you new twists that have now emerged. The foreign angle that will reveal, in fact, that's going to shock you as far as the prohibitory orders that continue to remain in place and the Union territory remains under curfew. Remember, it was a movement demanding statehood for Ladakh that turned violent on Wednesday, that left several injured, including cops. And in fact, on the day of the unrest, it was described as the worst in recent memory in the region and saw widespread clashes, arson and attacks on public property. Protesters vandalized and set afire the BJP office in Leh, along with several vehicles, as the statehood agitation turned violent. All right, there's some breaking news that's coming up. In fact, the nefarious Nepal twist. Yes, a Nepal link has now emerged. Was there an attempt to have a repeat of what we saw in Nepal? We don't know. But what we do know for sure is that there are over 20 Nepal citizens who were present in Ladakh at the time of violence. Their role is now being probed, and cops suspect that violence in Ladakh was part of a strategy. At least 2 Nepal nationals have been found attacking the police. For more, let's go across to Sahil Sohail. Sahil, you also have an eyewitness with you, I believe. And what is the role of the individuals who have come in from Nepal that the police now suspects?
Well, yes, the Ladakh police has registered an FIR. Over 50 people have been arrested, and now during the investigation, what they have come to this point is that there were Nepali citizens who were present in the Union territory of Ladakh, and they have basically come under scanner after they found some of the Nepali citizens had suffered injuries. They were hospitalized, and this was the point where, in fact, police suspected role of Nepali citizens, and following that, the videos and CCTV footage that was collected by police for investigation, for analyzing, there it basically came out that some of them were present and in fact participating in the protest. That is why they have been arrested and investigation is taking place. I saw those protesters who were arrested by the police being taken to hospital for medical examination, and then they were produced in the court. Right, outside, in fact, the Assembly Secretariat of Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council. This was another, in fact, location that was targeted by the protesters during this agitation, during this unrest. And here I have basically eyewitness with me who will narrate to us what happened at that time when protesters came in. Mr. Ayaz Ahmad, will you come out and क्या उस वक्त आपने देखा जब यहाँ पे लोग जमा हुए?
बस लोग आए, लोग हुजूम की सूरत में आ गए, बहुत सारे लोग थे, हम अपने काम कर रहे थे, अपने काम में मशगूल थे, तो लोग आ गए, उन्हें प्रोटेस्ट बहुत जोरों से प्रोटेस्ट चल रहा था, टीयर के शेलिंग चल रही थी, तो जितना मतलब यहाँ के पुलिस लोकल वाले ने हमें प्रोटेक्ट किया, अच्छा खासा।
आग कैसे लगाई इस असेंबली सेक्रेटरी?
आग बहुत सारे लोग थे, लगभग 100 की तादाद में जवान थे, तो कुछ कहने पेट्रोल पे लगा।
Clear signs of arson that are evident there in your ground report there, Sahil. Stay with us, because now the focus is also squarely on who instigated the violence. The government has accused activist Sonam Wangchuk for the unrest, alleging that his provocative statements, especially his reference to Arab Spring-style protests and also the references to the Gen Z protests in Nepal, were the reason. Even though Sonam Wangchuk has defended his statements, trouble seems to be mounting for him. Remember, he was on a hunger strike and has been pressing for statehood and extension of the 6th schedule to Ladakh. Now we've learned that the Central Bureau of Investigation has begun its probe in the alleged foreign funding to the NGO Himalayan Institute of Alternatives Ladakh. The charge is FCRA violations by his NGO. Bhavtosh is getting us more on this. Bhavtosh, what can you tell us about the FCRA violations charge that is now being probed?
Madhav, as far as the FCRA violation probe is concerned, it's a discrete inquiry of preliminary inquiry that has been initiated by the CBI is going on for past few months. What the CBI has said is that if they get evidence against HIL, which is a organization of Sonam Wangchuk, then they will go ahead and file a case against him. But there are some discrepancies as far as his accounts are concerned. The sudden jump in foreign earning, the fact that he did not provided any services, despite that there was in fact a certain amount of foreign earnings in his bank accounts, and importantly the fact that the two other organizations that he is associated with, there was in fact a quantum jump in the revenue of these accounts. He also did not disclose at least 5 of his bank accounts that were also linked to these accounts with his FCRA accounts. Now these are some discrepancies that have been found by the CBI, but the question is whether CBI will be filing a formal case as far as Sonam Wangchuk is concerned.
Well, that's going to be a matter of investigation, but this is what sources are also indicating to us. In fact, there's more information on the financial irregularities of Sonam Wangchuk. We have more inputs. In fact, BJP sources telling us about the donations received by Sonam Wangchuk's NGO, which has increased significantly from 6 crores in the assessment year 2023-24 to over 15 crores. During the assessment year 2024-25, there are 7 accounts of HIAL, of which 4 are not declared. Foreign remittances of over 1.5 crore are without FCRA registration. For more, let's go across to my colleague Pragya, who's joining us. Pragya, take us through these violations that your sources in the BJP are telling you about.
Madhav, there are many violations, in fact, and BJP is alleging, and in fact many of sources of the center are also alleging that there are total 9 accounts of Sonam Wangchuk. Out of that, 8 have not been declared. And there has been a transfer of funds from the entities that have received donation, which has increased significantly over a period of 1 year. And in fact, that has been transferred to his private NGO. And many of the, 2.3 crore of the amount has also been shifted abroad from his account. So that the center is right now saying that there is massive financial irregularities as far as Sonam Wangchuk and his accounts and his entities, and also the companies that he run and NGO that he run is concerned. And in fact, the center is also saying that there is FCRA irregular, violation as well as far as foreign assistance is concerned. So donation has come, but there were no FCRA abidement of the guidelines. So that case is also very strong against him. Sources are saying there are a lot of financial irregularities and that are going to be looked into it.
All right, Pragya, thank you so much for joining us, as well as Bhatosh and Sahil Sohail. Certainly, of course, a big story that we're going to continue tracking, massive political controversy as well. Let's now open this up to our guest. Joining us is Lalit Amardar, activist. Also with us is Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst. Aditya Gupta is youth president of the PDP. Nikhil Jain, foreign funds, foreign nationals, both of which have played a role in the havoc that we've seen on ground in Leh. What do you have to say to that, Nikhil Jain?
Mother, first of all, let's be very clear that these are allegations by the government. This is not a case proved in a court of law, and this is a pattern with this government that every time somebody does something that is inconvenient to them, they'll go around finding how there is something wrong in the balcony of their house, how their house is on an encroached land, how the house needs to be bulldozed, or how it's an NGO.
There are at least 2 Nepalese nationals who've been arrested. Are you saying that's a figment of imagination? That those individuals are fake?
No, I'm not saying that's absolutely not. I'm not saying that any arrests were a figment of imagination. What I'm saying is that these things are allegations by the prosecution and the state agencies so far. The very same state agencies which have miserably failed in talking to the people of Ladakh, the very same state agencies whose responsibility it is to maintain law and order, the very same state agencies whose responsibility it is to make sure that no NGO is receiving foreign funds without the foreign funds being produced.
Nikhil Jain, the CBI is probing this case. Are you saying that the CBI probe is also being done only with a political intent?
Is it not clear, Mother? The Supreme Court of India time and again, wraps this ED and the CBI on its knuckles for the absolutely partisan and political manner they carry out their workings with.
Sir, that may be the case when there are individuals or political parties. But let me bring in other panelists on this. Subrashta is also joining us. Subrashta, would you like to respond to Nikhil Jain, who says that even though the CBI may be probing this matter, the CBI and central agency have been pulled up by Apex Court in the past for acting in a partisan manner. And therefore, even this probe by the CBI into the assets, into the accounts, etc. of Sonam Wangchuk should not be taken at face value.
So, Madhav,
there are two, ways in which I would look at it. Firstly, to respond to this perennial charge of CBI, ED, etc. being agents of the state, let me tell you the state functions because of them. As much as the opposition wants the CBI, ED and any organization, even Supreme Court and High Court for that matter, to work at the whims and fancies of the opposition, that's not going to happen. They have a long political battle to fight. They should do it. They should get their house in order and fight it. Now, specifically on the question of Ladakh, please tell me, Madhav, I have been asking this question of Nikhil Jain every conversation that we have been on a part of on this issue since yesterday. Please tell me the 10-point agenda that Sonam Wangchuk shared with his MLA or an MP with respect to raising the living standards of average normal Ladakhis. Please tell me those 10, questions that he has asked of the central agencies or the central government and those that have not been met. Look, you may have a problem with certain situations in this country. You may want certain policies to be framed, but not everything will happen through the lens of activism.
Absolutely.
We have constitutions.
The question that many are asking, sorry, I'm interrupting you there, Subrashta. I want Nikhil to answer this point. A, what is the role that has been played in resolving this at a time when there are talks going on? We know that there were talks scheduled formally for the 6th of October. There are informal talks that were supposed to happen through the course of the last few days, including today, we are understanding. And right before that, this kind of violence breaks out, Nikhil Jain, which is leading many to believe or at least question that whether there is a larger intent behind this.
Madhav, the BJP is always going to question a larger intent, a foreign hand and everything under the sun except the fact that they do not know how to operate in a democracy. These protests are not new. These protests started picking up, the disenchantment in the people started picking up in 2020 around when the 6th schedule, which was promised by the BJP during the Lok Sabha 2019.
Is this arson justifiable in a democracy, Nikhil Jain? Is this kind of arson, violence,
absolutely,
burning up of political party offices?
No instance of
so what is the point you are making?
Or beating up. The point that I'm making is that it is an absolute failure of the government to talk to the people, to talk to the protesters. See, when you talk about protests and protests that have been going on for years,
if the talks are going on, where is the failure?
How long will the talks go on? These people have been protesting and are on hunger strike since 2021. We are in 2025, 4 years.
Okay, Subrashta, somewhere or the other, there's a failure to understand the emotions of the people and to fulfill their pending demands. That's repeatedly the statement coming in from opposition. Is that a valid criticism? Subrashta.
Yes. So, Madhav, there are two things. There is a question of statehood and there is a question of 6th schedule. I don't think there is any conversation around 6th schedule. Let it be very clear that currently under the national security risks that zone carries, given the kind of, demography that is there, Schedule 6 should be out of the question. The problem is statehood. And I don't think any government, any political party or any sane individual is not going to talk about statehood in the very first place. The idea of bifurcating Jammu and Kashmir the way it has been done today was to grant statehood to Ladakh. See, of course, if you have to sum up the conversation, Sonam Wangchuk has become unfortunately an agent of the deep state. He has to be accountable to...
Mr. Jain, nothing is visible. Please put your phone down. Let me put that question across to Aditya Gupta. Aditya Gupta, has Sonam Wangchuk become an agent of the deep state, as is being suggested by Subrashta?
So that's the whole point. The issue of people of Ladakh has been hijacked by one name. You are saying Sonam Wangchuk is the more important thing. So you have to understand, since 2020 to 2019, people of Ladakh, I'll just give you a backdrop. 2019, the people of Ladakh basically celebrated abrogation of Article 370 because they were told that 6th schedule will come into play. 2020, the Hill Development Council, BJP's manifesto says, number 2, that we will get the 6th schedule. Then in the parliament election, the manifesto again says we will get the 6th schedule. Now, once you keep, and apart from that, 1.5 years back, Sonam Wangchuk and other farmers and breeders close to the international border had held a protest, and that was a fast unto death. That continued for 21 days. The government interfered and said, we will talk about 6th schedule. Now the 6th schedule has gone out of the window. Now what is happening is that once you commit, you have to handle these people well. See, these people have been agitating that 4,000 square meters of Indian territory has been taken away by China. Now see, these are the relevant questions that come into play right now. I come from Jammu and Kashmir. We are connected to Leh. We know. See what you have been. These kind of voices have been being raised in Jammu and Kashmir, but you have been always covering it up.
Okay, that's the point. That's the point, to protest peacefully for whatever one requires. That's ultimately the bedrock of any democratic system. But Lalit Ambardar, does he have a fair point when he says there were repeated promises made as far as the 6th schedule is concerned by the BJP, which have now not been fulfilled, leading to these protests? Lalit.
See, Madhav, I wouldn't like to comment on the party politics, but I want to tell you one thing. They ravished BJP office yesterday. It wasn't against BJP. It was against the state of India, because they also targeted the central security forces. They also targeted the local police. That's it. It's a part of a toolkit. It's no coincidence that the main protagonist, I don't call him even an agent provocateur, Sonam Wangchuk, is part of the toolkit. What he has been talking about, how he has been preparing the ground for this upheaval that happened yesterday, that he has been talking about Generation Z, then he has been talking about Nepal, he has been talking about Arab Spring, he has been talking about Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Is this how you try to reach out to the central government? No, right. He was provoking people. And when he realized his goal was achieved, then tried to be a Gandhian and tell them, okay, I'm suspending my this thing. Listen, Ladakh is a very, very important security issue. Daulat Beg I want to bring it to everybody's notice here. Daulat Beg Oldi is the highest air strip in the world, 17,000 feet. This government is building a road which will make our travel to that strategically important air base. It's not an air strip which is very close to LAC and as well as Siachen. This will take 10 hours, not 2 days that takes now, and it's out of China's surveillance. Now, if you go for 6th schedule, all your infrastructure development and defense projects will come to a halt. You will have to take permission from this very Sonam Wangchuk whether we can build a road or a bridge or a
all very important points, Lalit. But my last question to Aditya Gupta. Aditya Gupta, even if you buy all the arguments that you're making as far as the 6th schedule is concerned, what are Nepalese nationals doing attacking the police in Leh? What justifies that?
Oh, I will first like to clarify about the fact that, see, Ladakhis are not against building any army infrastructure. They are saying that the corporates are intruding into here.
Answer my question, sir. Answer my questions. What are Nepalese nationals doing attacking police personnel there in Leh? Please answer the question.
It is very important that your good audience get to know that the Ladakhis are not against the armed forces. They are asking.
No one is saying that they are, sir. Has anybody said that they are against it? He is talking about the legal. He is talking about the legal issues. But nevertheless, there are serious questions about the manner in which the protests have spread. And if there is a Gen Z narrative that is repeatedly used, judging by what has happened and the kind of violent and reprehensible scenes in Nepal, are we trying to once again push that narrative here in India is a question that is certainly there on the minds of several individuals. Lalit Ambardar, Subhrashta, Nikhil Jain, Aditya Gupta, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.